Welcome to Flawless Game Movies. I am Mystify and we are nearing the end of Act 1 in our Let's Play about Diablo 3. As always, I'm going to start with showing you guys my equipment, or the equipment of our Crusader. The only big change is that we have a complete equipment for the first time in this series. So I'm happy with that, and now we're up to the upgrading process. Our passive skill is still the same. I changed up our primary to Justice, still have the same secondary, changed the defensive, but I kept the utility and law the same, which I will elaborate a little bit more during the episode. I also gave the follower a new skill, Charge, as you guys could see, and I also will talk a little bit more about that later. But first we are going to start where we left off. And we're killing the woodland creatures. We're going to open up the den and kill some more Darkmoon clan shamans. The reason I can talk about this right now, where we hammer these Darkmoon clan warriors. The reason I chose Justice over Smite is because I wanted to try a new skill, and it would seem fitting by using the primary attack, having a hammer, throwing a hammer as well. Because, like I talked last episode, sometimes the blessed hammer skill isn't such a blessing and is quite agonizing, because the advantage is also its disadvantage. It is a area of effect spell, and you need to position your character pretty precise to hit just one character if you're close to it. So now we do have a hammer which we can fling from quite close. Why do I choose the wording Agonizing? Because we are going to the Halls of Agony, hopefully facing the Butcher in this episode at the end of the Halls of Agony. Here I'm trying to use Steed Charge to get out of a sticky situation, but I'm not really convinced about the skill. I haven't changed it back to Shield Glare because I do want to give the skill another chance. Same goes for the new law we unlocked. I haven't changed that because I do like Law of Valor, and I don't want to try too much things at once, so I don't know which ones are working and which don't. I did change the utility skill, I did change the Shield Glare skill. Yeah. The defensive skill, sorry, which you can see we're healing, which is now concentration instead of, which is still my favorite, Shield Glare. I was quite confused because I thought Steed Charge was the same, but Steed Charge is the utility skill, which is the line of Provoke, which I still like a little bit more than Steed Charge, but we'll see. We'll give it a try. About the ability of the follower, unlocked at level 15, which is, I've chosen the charge ability. I've chosen the charge ability because it can stun some enemies, which gives us a little bit more conditions, and I think which is nice in conjunction with Shield Glare, which I obviously don't have right now, but I thought it was a little bit more of fitting of the support role which I gave to my follower. So in the meanwhile, I try to give some concentration shields, or at least areas which we are healed. It is doing some work for us, but not particularly much. I don't like the fact that we're pretty static, and I know that one of the runes for the Blast Hammer makes it more dynamic, in which the hammers are circling around you even if you move, which makes the ability a little bit more useful. So I'm thrilled to try that one out, but it will be unlocked a little bit later. For now we're level 17, trying to battle our way to Leoric's manor, where the stranger has held captivity. In captivity, I have to say. So I'm trying to find it over here. What I have to say, I am liking this skill, although I'm talking about Blast Hammer, which, although it is sometimes agonizing, a torture to have such a skill. We'll see. I talked a bit about it in the last episode as well, about increasing the difficulty. I see I am actually quite easily killing these creatures. So for Act 2 I'm probably going to increase the difficulty level, but I'm a little bit hesitant because we're doing so well now and I don't want to look like an asshole. Make an ass of myself by dying all the time, but I think our character is ready for it, and although I don't know the complete game, all the ins and the outs, I think we'll manage. I think we'll manage. Nice wording. Let's kill this mortar dude. And this is the wrong positioning for the Blast Hammer skill, as you guys can see. It was just circling around my enemy, not doing that much. And that's the whole problem with the skill, of course, with any area of effect in any given RPG. You will see that these abilities are quite stellar and quite static, and that you do have very limited use in these kind of areas, in these bottlenecks like we're in now. They're quite useful as long as these hammers are going through the textures of the level, which they are. In this case, the enemy has to stand in the area of effect. But knowing Diablo, you do have some dungeons in which the bottlenecks are a occurrence, but they're not always. So like these, it's mostly an open area game. So the enemies can flee. Of course, they just want to chop me to death, so they are drawn to me. I must heal. Can't get out of the damage, so we need to get back to Leoric hunting grounds. Trying to heal myself with concentrations, not really working. Need to get out of this. I'm still surviving. There we go. This is one of the first times we actually get into trouble, and it's just about when I started talking about increasing the difficulty, but that's just a coincidence. Doesn't really happen all that much. So as you guys can see, I'm trying the concentration skill, giving it a try quite a lot, but I am not really liking the skill yet. Maybe some rune can change it, or a specific build. They're hammering another Moonclan warrior to death. I do like the animation of Justice, but I think, in all honesty, Smite is a little bit better. It could be the case that we do have some runes for that as well. So that's why I'm switching them up. As soon as we got a rune, I'm going to change. And in all honesty, the switching up of the primary attack skill doesn't really change all that much. It's primarily the runes which change things. And they're right on the edge of my blast hammer. And there he goes. And we get another level. So we're actually coming quite far. I'm curious, and I think it takes one more episode to reach the butcher, if I'm correct. We're now around 12 minutes into this episode. But I do think that we need a little bit more time to reach the butcher. And I think these Dark Moon Clan warriors, slash impaler, shaman, whatever, they are summoned by this, so we need to get to the source and kill those Gasra totems, which we are doing right now, so we can close the portal, whatever it may be. Please go down and stay down. And let's check, and we'll see some. We see an area over there, so let's go over there. I'm sorry, I'm a little bit tired, so I'm recording this. No excuse for dying, by the way, if it may happen. Dark cultists, come on. Okay, so we're at Leoric's Manor, and just slaying some of these dark cultists. The man in pajamas, who do explode like a balloon. And these guys are a little bit stronger, so let's surround ourselves and give them a hammer to the face. And I have talked about... Okay, we need to get a little bit out of range. And a random achievement popped up. The elitist. Normally I set those to silent because I do like it a little bit. I do not like them in my videos, but if you guys do like them, just give me some feedback and I'll try and put them into my next games in this series. I try to incorporate it, maybe even go to achievement hunt a little bit, although I haven't have a lot of them left right now in this game. But we do get some challenges over here. I'm talking about achievements for Diablo. The one that is absolutely a pain to gain is the all that glitters from Diablo 3, which is obnoxious to say the least. Which is required. You need to get 5 million in gold just by picking up gold. But it's just by you can do it by grinding or by leveling all the classes, which is needed for this as well. You need 6 characters of level 70, and those achievements are really the most time consuming. But I'm not particularly fond of achievement hunting. If I can get them easily, I like to try them, and otherwise I just like to play my games and enjoy myself. But some achievements are pretty fun on their own. So sometimes I do like to achievement hunt, but that's just because I enjoy the game that I do not mind. So in the meanwhile we have cleared Leoric's manor and we are heading to the Halls of Agony, which are the torture chambers of Leoric. In the end of that, I believe Halls of Agony 4, we find the end boss of this act, which I have mentioned at least one time in this episode, but maybe even in the previous episodes as well. So let's enter these Halls of Agony and give these berserkers a beating. They are strong. I need to watch out that I do not get jailed right on the verge of dying. Sometimes with the elite creatures or special creatures, these guys do have more than one ability, especially on secondary playthroughs, but not this level yet. And this is the first occasion I really do like Steed Charge. Just needed to mention that because I might not give this ability enough credit. And this is also where I do like concentration, because I really do not need the life, and also saw my follower charging one berserker, which gave me more time to finish one off and while the other guy was stunned. So a nice synergy of the new abilities we have put on our characters.
We have just arrived in Tristram, and I must say.
But as I was saying, some of these abilities are not from the special enemies, aren't really synergistic. Let's get this book for the extra experience, by the way. But some of the abilities aren't just synergistic. Some are, but sometimes I see things like Wormhole and Jailer, and then they just wormhole you out of a problem or whatever. The same goes for Wallers and Jailers. I mean, what's the point of walls when you are already jailing somebody? And sometimes I see these waller creatures put a wall between them and yourself, and with this enemy it is annoying, but with the sorcerers or with the witch doctor you have some abilities which just go over the wall, and you have more of an advantage of the wall than they do because they are melee. So sometimes it makes no sense at all, but I think that's just a testament to the randomness of this game, which also makes it fun and a little less predictable. Let's kill these Inverno zombies. As soon as they rise, we'll put them down again. So I'm trying to find Halls of Agony 2, the secondary level, and again we see the stun ability of the follower. Trying to hit with the hammers, both Blast Hammer and Justice. There you go. Let's kill these dark vessels before they transform into the unholy trolls. And I've called these guys a few episodes back leprechauns, the dark summoners, but it's just because of the pointy heads, and if you view it from a little distance they do look like leprechauns, and at least that's what my opinion is, but I still think they look funny, and I can't really be feared by them, or I am feared by them, but I can't be very scared by these looking creatures. I mean, if you're trying to kill somebody, and we need to take it serious, as a serious threat, please don't look like a leprechaun. They just look like ridiculous. Although Chucky, the evil possessed doll, also looked like shit and not scary at all. And he did kill some people, but whatever. This is one of the strongest abilities. That frozen with electrified. The combination, I think this is a strong combination because they pin you in one place, you are slowed, and then you see the electrify. Although the electric bolts will hit you, but this is a strong, not the strongest, but a strong synergy. But we'll get them down anyway. And now I just want to deal those last points of damage, but need to watch out I won't die. So we'll just wait for a little bit of regeneration from our equipment. Maybe even the healer, the follower, wants to do something, but I guess not. So let's get this disentombed Hulk. And he hits us out of our concentration ring, but I just put it down to regain some of the lost life. And I have to say, I'm not impressed by the skill, but it's not as bad as I thought initially. I'm really I don't like dynamic skills, although I told you guys Blessed Hammer was my favorite skill, and I think of the Crusader skills it still is my favorite skill, but then again I haven't seen them all. I also do like the Law of Valor and the Shield Glare. So we'll see if we can make a build in the end featuring those, or maybe even the other skills we still have to try, which I like a little bit more maybe. Also curious to the Fist of the Heavens. Need to watch out for these arcane beams. I think I need to get out here. Let's run a little bit around here in our concentration circle. Just to regain some life. And Durask, the brute, is quite strong, but we do kill him. And there we got the blades, which we can use in our advantage, but also can hit us. But as long as we position right, nothing will happen. So we'll use him a little bit. Also a sign we are close to a Halls of Agony 2. And when I say so, I get one right into my skull.
I need to go back.
And there we see Halls of Agony 2. So this is where we end this video. In the next video I will explore and battle myself a way through the Halls of Agony towards the end boss of this act. And hopefully also kill that, but I'm not really sure about the time, if it's possible in one episode. But I do think we need to take a shot. And this is the end post of me by my banner, as you guys can see. I hope you guys liked this episode. Nothing really much happened, but we do get to check out some nice skills. Hope you guys liked it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Hopefully last of Act 1. Bye.